Greetings. My name is Benjamin Bowes. We're reading this article again. If you haven't watched the first video, I advise you to go back and watch the first video that we have on this article, this beautifully done article. If you've already watched the first video, thank you for doing that, and thank you for being here again. And the same as if you haven't. Whichever the case may be, we're going to have a lot of great time here in spite of this absolutely horrifying material. So I'll be vanishing once again and letting the Fuller machines take over. Please enjoy this video if you can. It just gets more ridiculous and more ridiculous and more ridiculous. I've got to take a little break. We're going to start back on this shit again. I'm probably going to do some mulling. I'm probably going to listen to this over and think about this more and feel out where we're at for getting to this next section, next idea. How long is this going to take? I guess we'll find out. I think we're almost an hour in now. So we're going to see where this goes. 26 minutes just on this damn one. And I'm sure there's going to be some small pieces I edit out. At 26 minutes right now, it'll probably, maybe at max is going to cut it down to 23. So, y'all bear with me. I hope you find this as interesting as I do. I'm going to take a little break. We're back again. Hello. 3:11 in the morning. Back at this. Fuller brush videos still going. Looking at some floor wax. I'm not sure why. People working at some little drawing boards. I'm probably looking at something different than what you're going to be looking at as this video goes. And obviously, maybe I'll find some other Fuller brush material to put in behind this audio that I'm creating for you now. But I think last time I looked, this was really the only one that was interesting. There may have been one other one. Oh, those machines just keep going and going. And we're going to keep going and going together on this brilliant article. And whoever did this, just, I cannot thank that person enough for their honesty and candor. And actually getting to the bottom of something that could seem so innocuous as a brush. And the act of door-to-door selling, which is iconic in America. Just this idea that if you're a man with a strong mind or a strong back, that you can make it in America and provide for your family, you know? And what goes into all this, if you haven't noticed already, is that idea, the prominence of that idea, and not only that, of just what, you know, a normal life should look like and what a successful life should look like, right? And I don't think I'm reading too much into this. I know I'm not. And that's why this article is important, and it's why we're reading it together. So we're going to go on, and I'm going to have to scroll through my notes, because every time that I leave my notes to manipulate this sound recorder that I'm using to bring you this audio for this video that we're making together, I feel like we're making it together. Oh, where was I? I don't know. We're going on with this article. We're going to try and make it through this. I don't know how long it's going to take. There's a lot to talk about. Now here we really go with the article again. Speaking of these executives, these four take charge of the whole retail sales end of the business. Under Mr. Adams as general manager come the 7 unit managers distributed around the country, whose intermediate position between the Hartford executives and the field is indicated by the fact that, though about half of their money is from a commission on the total sales of the unit, they also get a basic salary. Under each of the unit managers are 20 to 50 branches under branch managers who work entirely on a commission, averaging 8.5% on all branch sales. Under the branch managers come field managers, averaging 5% on the sales of their sections of about 10 dealers each. Excuse me. The dealers who are actually salesmen with sample cases get a basic 33.3%, which they pay to themselves by retaining it from the retail price. This is the organization in outline. I'll stop here. I love that, 33.3%. If you double that, you've got 66.6%. 66.6%. What a coinky-dink. Satanic going on there. You know, and there really isn't anything satanic going on there. Obviously, these people, and I don't know if it's mentioned in this article. It's been so long since I've read it, and the article is so extensive. I've read this article, I can't tell you how many times, and I still can't tell you about all of it because maybe my brain isn't as good as others, but it feels to me like there's a lot here to remember, and it's all important. We're going to resume with this article. What makes it go? The key man in this organization is the branch manager. He signs up the applicants for jobs and appoints the field managers who direct the sections of salesmen. It is up to him. If he cannot sign the selling salesmen, if he cannot pick out field managers who have what it takes to keep salesmen pepped up and raring to sell, he won't make any money. The company will give him, through unit managers, every benefit of its experience and advice. Or, if he shows signs of slipping and so affecting the unit manager's commission adversely, the unit manager will give him the benefit of his personal dissent for a combined showdown. Warning, and go to it, old man, I know you can do it, super pepping up. I feel I read it awkwardly. And we're going to start off again at, go to it, old man, I know you can do it, super pepping up. The company will pay the rent of the branch manager's office, actually a good way of making certain that he locates himself where the company thinks he ought to be located, and in a style neither too mean nor too wastefully elaborate. It will meet the branch manager a shade more than halfway. If he wishes to advertise specials, items temporarily reduced, different ones 4 times a year, in local newspapers, the company will pay half and supply the mats. Everything else he must do for himself. Office help and other not inconsiderable expense of prizes to foster healthy rivalry among his dealers, of entertainments to reward the successful and cheer up the unsuccessful. The branch manager himself, with the help of contributions from the field managers, pays for. It was he who found it necessary to put that advertisement in the help wanted columns, so he paid for that. After all, he is the one who cannot afford to leave territory uncovered, who wants, in the interest of his own profit, a full complement of dealers, all selling brushes as hard as they can, all day, every day. By finding the means to arrange this, he is sure of a good living. A number of managers make $10,000 a year. This was in 1938. Sorry, of the article. Back to it. While it is true that the unit manager may occasionally be called on to do for the branch manager what the branch manager and his field managers spend most of their time doing for the dealers, the typical branch manager is so fully in charge with enthusiasm and fervor that more could hardly be got into him. He may be helped with a constant flow of new ideas and timely suggestions from above, but he is the key man in the fuller system, and the company's success, like the unit manager's success and his own success, depends on his being a particular sort of person. Really a religious sort of person, with a fanatical faith in the creed of bigger and better sales. He too needs more than the motivation of profit and self-interest. But as in the psychology of saints and heroes, and it might as well be admitted that he has, in a humble or rudimentary form, what they have, an element of self-hypnosis is involved. He could not support the rigors of acting as an inexhaustible human dynamo unless he had the means of automatically recharging himself. Off from the article. Now think about that. Of always being a dynamo and just reviving yourself and no downtime. Back to the article. He could not function at all if his sincerity were less than perfect. Doubts about the holiness of quotas and the sanctity of selling must not trouble him. Self-consciousness should not hold him back from any useful excess. He must not only be adept at applied psychology and instinctively expert in the great art of taking mental hold of the half-discouraged, the desperate, the nervous young, and the helplessly inexperienced old, and putting into them by main force of personality the heart and courage to sell brushes. He has to have the liking for people and the love of ingenuous fun that he has to have the liking for people and the love of ingenuous fun that feels only zest in leading 40 dealers toward the right frame of mind by singing with them to an evident tune. And I'd love to find the melody to this. Selling yesterday, selling the day before, going to sell today as I never sold before. For when I'm selling, I'm happy as I can be. For I'm a member of the Fuller family. Loyalty, loyalty, one company for the whole of us. Would to God that there were more of us, for the few of us can't do it all alone. The job of branch manager requires quite definite qualities, and since these qualities shape a man's manner and mark his base brand, managers tend to look alike. I wonder if that's the typo, tend to look alike. Even great differences in actual physical appearances are obliterated by similarities of expression. I'm going to depart from the article for a moment. That is beautiful. How this man in 1938 this guy is fucking throwing down. He's furious, and I feel it with him. Here we are, back to the article. I'll start back there again. Even great differences in actual physical appearance are obliterated by similarities of expression, a typical optimistic shine of the eye, and perhaps by the more rarefied still, but real, presence of what is unabashedly known as the fine and dandy spirit. This spirit, whose importance will be considered later, is again reflected in a standard of dress, shirt patterns, and cut of suits, somewhat more cheerful than is general with men or comparable position and earnings in other fields. Especially marked is a characteristic grooming fairly to be called immaculate, a pleasant appropriate look of recent vigorous use of the gentleman's personal set. Manicure brush, clothes brush, scalp and shampoo brush, pocket comb, deluxe hand brush, hat brush, and perhaps even the palm brush, an odd round object completing the set, described briefly in the catalog as used like a cake of soap, handy anywhere. Oh my God. This is like mentally taxing, reading all of this. This article is so long, yet there's not a word wasted here in this. There's no filler. There's no crap. Every bit of this is relevant, pertinent, and descriptive. And it has to be, because it's such a detailed and long con. And it's so much like so many other things we see now. We left from the article somewhere. This is taking forever. It's 3:30 now. So I'm 20 minutes in on this one already. And I don't feel like I'm taking that much time out from the side of this article. Went back over a couple of things, but man, we really created a character here. We're going to get back to the article. This, then, is the man who makes the Fuller Brush Company's merchandising scheme work. Invariably, he began as a dealer and reached his present position only after some years of selling and some experience as a field manager. He knows exactly what he wants, and he has the instinct, the experience, and the judgment to go about getting it, if getting it is humanly possible, from the material available to him. To maintain a dealer force of about 4,500, it is necessary to persuade 12,000 new men each year that selling brushes is a livelihood and a career. The branch manager would like it better if he could get these new men through his present dealers, and in some branches, a large percentage of the new men are brought in this way. The manager in that case knows something about the man, and the man already knows the proposition and thinks it would suit him. In general, however, this convenience is the exception, not the rule. And with so large a turnover, the main point is that men, almost any men, be brought in somehow. No branch manager ventures to say exactly what sort of man will make a good dealer. And I don't think that people who, I'm sorry, we're departed from the article again. I don't think people who discuss the current problems that we're having today that so resemble and that so have been stolen from this fuller brush. It's just so brutal because it's true. Once again, I'm going to repeat this. No branch manager ventures to say exactly what sort of a man will make a good dealer. This is something that anybody can do. Because the nature of it is you never know what a hook might be. If you're socially awkward, it can be a good thing. Some people will find that endearing. There's something that about almost anybody that people may just like. This is how things go. It's kind of like a glitch or something. Oh, wow. I moved my phone down. I know how to earmark it now. I'm looking at this little side part. So now I can find my spot back better. Okay. Yeah, now we're back. Thank goodness. What sort of a man makes a good dealer? We can't tell. We do not know what sort of person makes a good dealer. We cannot tell because that's how selling works. It's such an odd thing, but it's true that you just never know what people will find attractive in somebody pitching you something. And we'll get to the law of averages too, which is an important part of how some people can just simply be successful at something for no apparent reason, for not seeming to have what you think would be an aptitude, what we think would be an aptitude as a salesman. Yet they succeed anyways, and the reason that this is true is because this isn't sales at all. You aren't selling an item. You're selling the idea of selling an item. And sometimes it can piss people off really bad to know or because it's not true. Like what they're believing that they're seeing isn't true anyways. They think that they're seeing that, like, if you're what most people would think of as a bad salesman and they see you doing good at it, they think to themselves that they could be 10 times better than you. So if you're doing all right at it, they're gonna be a billionaire, right? Like, look at this sucker over here making a living this way. I'm gonna blow him away. It's that simple. And this is how people think. They aren't even taking into account dude ain't making money anyways. This is also complex because it's deception. It's deception at its core. The very beginning of it's deception. And so every bit thereafter will be even more deception, stacked on top of more deception. And it's never going to stop until someone finally admits it or we get rid of them. And the law is not going to do anything about it. They don't look into the ethics of business, obviously, or we wouldn't see what we see today. We wouldn't see what we were seeing then, because people would have read this article back then. Government officials, and they say, hey, do we really want to live like this? They want to live like this, and they act as if this is legitimate. And that an article such as this, so well thought out and so studied, is just an opinion. That's just how we feel, dude. And we're just looking at things the wrong way. We're losers and we're negative. We do research and use calculators. And those people who go out and sell those fuller brushes, well, they have heart. And they're the ones who showed you're wrong. and doing all your calculations and analytics and things. You were wrong. You were sitting there in your armchair while this man was out doing the world a favor and selling these brushes, right? Not so fast, Fuller. We've got an article we're reading. We're going to keep on going. No branch manager ventures to say exactly what sort of a man will make a good dealer. The unlikeliest sorts. We're back to the article. No branch manager ventures to say exactly what sort of a man will make a good dealer. The unlikeliest sorts might also be said to be the most promising, and the previous experience in canvassing is not necessarily a recommendation. At a manager's dinner for sales leaders, men who had sold $100 worth or better the preceding week, given by a typical branch manager, appeared a former sheep herder, a bricklayer, a chauffeur. The company knows of spectacular instances of success enjoyed by former clergymen, dentists, or college professors. And we see this today. Once again, leaving the article, we see this today with multi-level marketings. They pluck people from all sorts of different careers. They say it never matters what you did before or what your aptitudes are. And they're right, it doesn't. Because you're probably going to lose. But anybody can win, too. Those few can win. We're going to go on more with these articles. And, of course, we'll add, too, that clergymen, dentists, college professors, all these people, well, maybe some of them get their money kind of crooked. Some of them might not be paid well. Dentists are paid well. Clergymen can be paid well. College professors, well. But these people know a lot of people. And so it's easy for these people to sell brushes. And even if they're not doing well, they may very well have more money than the average man who's out there trying to sell a brush to actually support his family. These people are just making a little extra money during their retirement or, in their spare time. They know a lot of people. It's easy for these people. The irony, and that's always how these schemes work, is the people who don't really need the money are always the ones who end up making what money there is to make, while the very most vulnerable are always the ones who pay in and lose. Going on with this quite damning article. Here we go. Consequently, the branch manager, not unaware that most of the men he interviews were led to the advertisement to hope that a salary job was waiting for them, and all too aware that they will not like the line of work he has to offer, doesn't really worry about that. The branch manager is not worried about people who come to him not liking the job they're there to do. We find that a little disturbing. We'll go on with the article. The intelligence or experience that could not be misled by ingenious hope or ambiguous wording is not necessarily desirable. Put bluntly, in a phrase that has become the manager's axiom, the manager prefers men who are just dumb enough to do what they are told. This statement is neither cynical nor contemptuous. During the sixth period of 1938, 2,316 dealers who stuck to the job and did what they were told averaged $276 in total sales, each meaning a profit in commissions for them of $29.04 a week. I'm editing that out. The remaining 2,267 dealers who accounted for the rest of the total sales volume averaged $146 for the period, or $12.15 a week. Here, obviously, is where the huge turnover is taking place, since men who don't make more than that would have an easier time on relief. And I'm going to stop here and say that when he says relief here, he means unemployment, I think. Or maybe Social Security. Or both, but obviously this is 1938. We used different words back then. A lot of them were way better words. Back to the article. From the manager's standpoint, at least, these are the ones who don't do as they are told, who give up, let down, or quit. Their averages do not affect the manager's conviction that the thing he offers, even if it is not what the candidate had hoped, is a good thing. This, no doubt, gives the manager that confidence which even he may need when he sees discouragement flood the face confronting him as a regular job and regular salary vanish into a possible 33.3% commission unreally held out somewhere beyond a hideous ordeal of rebuffs and humiliations through day after day of lugging around a line of merchandise that most people put off buying as long as possible. What the applicant for this opportunity does not know is the way that the law of averages works. Departing from the article, I mentioned this earlier, that the law of averages is important here, and that we would be coming back to it, and here we are. And this is beautiful to me, that this man made this connection and dug deep into what's so obvious. And once again, that's how these things work. It's so out in the open. The fraud is so out in the open that you can't see it. We're working with the law of averages. Back to the article. In the company's experience, certain averages over the period of about a year will always hold. If a man follows his instructions exactly, visiting the 2,500 homes that make up his block of territory every 3 months, he will find that he has sold $700 worth of Fuller brushes. A recent Fortune survey supports the company's contention. Every sixth person interviewed bought regularly from house-to-house salesmen. Though a mathematical truth is here operating with much the actuarial precision of the insurance company's mortality tables, it will not work out in every new man's case, for the good reason that many new men will not give it time to work out. There is only one chance in 3 or 4 that the signed-up salesman will last a year, or, indeed, more than a few months. However, to the man who does last a year, this turnover is very advantageous. A year of selling makes him a real veteran, a so-called serviceman, with a special pen and a chance for more commission. At the end of the first period in 1938, 2,783 of the 4,350 Fuller dealers had been working less than 6 months. Dealers who had worked 2 years or more numbered 611. Of these, 192 had worked 5 years or more. Since the organization has places for 600 field managers and for at least 150 branch managers, a serviceman's chance of becoming a field manager fairly soon, 300 of them had 2 years service or less in 1938, is good. A serviceman's chance of becoming a field manager fairly soon is good, and given some years' experience and the necessary aptitude, he will probably be a branch mayonnaise jar. Manager. I said manager, not mayonnaise jar. But we're going to take a little break here. I'm going to listen over this for quality, check the storage space on my phone, see where we're at here. It's now 3:50. For those of you who get that little South Park joke, it's 3:50 a.m. I'm trying to make my way through this article with you guys. Let's see where I am at the scroll. I'm about 2/3 of the way down in this page. We've made it 2/3 of the way through, folks, and I'm pretty sure my glasses are falling apart. I didn't even drop them. I think I bumped them with my phone somehow. Now one of the lenses is gone. We're going to pause this, take a little break, come back. I'm 2/3 of the way through my scroll. This is a long article, and there's a lot going on here. And it's all important. It's why we're reading it together. We're back at this again. I've repaired my glasses with some, they're black glasses, and I've repaired them with a tiny bit of roofing tar. Stuck it on the inside of the black rim, just a tiny dab of it, and clamped it back over the lens and wiped off a little excess, and we're doing good now. So, broken glasses and more to read about this broken company and broken system of what some people would like to call employment, but is clearly not. And this is something related to Calvinist ideals. This is a religion of both work and monetary policy in life. That's how you determine your worth as a human, is by the amount of money you make. And this is what shows you're successful. We're going to get back to this absolutely horrible article for Fuller Brush anyways. Great for you and me, I think. I love it. So, where were we? I had a big heading. I swear I'm going to make chapters that This may be the second chapter of this video. The heading of this I made 1 of 12,000, or that may, I think the article said that too. It made this a heading. The heading says saying 1 of 12,000, and it goes on. The branch manager's job is to make the prospective dealer see this, and the, well, what's he seeing? What were we talking about? It's the possibility of branch manager. It's the possibility of being promoted yourself and living a life like he does. The branch manager's job is to make the prospective dealer see this, and his first step is to eye his man with an air of shrewd goodwill. This is genuine. Not only is goodwill natural to the type of man who is a branch manager,